everyone. Welcome to the Vetly Speaking Podcast, where we have transformative and insightful conversations on issues through the lens of military veterans and supporters of veterans alike. I am your host, Dee Glodowski. So today is a very special episode as we celebrate the month of the military child. And I'm honored to have my amazing children, my twins, Naya and Quincy. It also happens to be their 13th birthday tomorrow. Military life is all they've known. So our conversation on this episode is unscripted, and I'll be having I'm actually hearing their responses for the first time for the questions that we're going to kind of talk about. So I'll be asking them on today's episode, I'm curious to know their thoughts, their feelings on being military kids, what it means to them, and how they've navigated the ups and downs along the way. So a little background. The month of the military child was established 1986 by then Secretary of Defense Caspar Weinberger. So here are some facts, right? There are over 1.6 million military children with many unique challenges due to their parents in service. Since 9/11, one or both parents of about 2 million military children have been deployed. The key event for the month of the military child is the National Purple Up Day. We're not wearing purple, unfortunately. I wish we were, but it's not April 15th, right, kids? Anyway, so celebrated on April 15th is a Military Child Appreciation Day. So in essence, it's a day to thank and show your support and wear of purple. So why purple? Well, it's only because it involves all the services. And so if you're in the military and you hear purple, it's a combination, it's a joint effort. So Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, etc. So Naya, Quincy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. And so let's start with the basics, okay? Naya. And so for listeners, they're 1 minute apart. And so Naya is the oldest and Quincy came after. And so I guess I will start with you, young lady, to answer the first question that I have. Okay. We're going to keep it simple. We'll start simple. So what do you think is your biggest challenge of being a military child?
Personally, my biggest challenge is when you have to move different places.
Yeah.
Because you experience new things, new people, a whole entire new community, and it can sometimes be hard adjusting to it, but then overall you get the hang of it, I guess.
Really? Quincy, what about you?
I agree with Naya saying that also moving around, but also when you move, you leave memories behind where you just came from. Like, let's say you were in the US and then you moved to Europe, you left all your friends and family and your memories is in the United States and you moved to a different place. So that can be hard sometimes.
So, but you also would you think that what's your time frame when for each time that we've moved? How would you say, how many days, months do you think? Was it quick? Is it long? I like to think that because now you guys are almost 13, right? What do you think? Do you say a month, 2 months? For you guys, what's your experience, Quincy?
I would probably say like a few years, maybe over 3 years.
It takes that long? So
to adjust. Oh, to adjust.
To adjust.
Probably a few months, 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months? Okay. Naya, you?
I think it would be depending on the move. So, like, if it's an international move, then longer. But then if it's just like if you're moving to a different state, then it doesn't take as long.
So when we moved to Germany, how long did it take you to adapt?
I mean, that was when COVID first started, so it was a long, long process.
Yeah,
But I think it took a good, I want to say around 3 or 4 months, just because um, it was a whole entire new thing. It wasn't
yeah,
like America, and we also lived on base for a little bit, so it was all over the place a little bit.
yeah. That's true. Transitioning wasn't easy, you know. I remember because you also hurt yourself, first soccer practice. And so that was interesting. And I was on the road a lot as well. And so, okay. So, but it's a challenge. Let's stick to the positive. What has been the most rewarding part about it? Of all those moves you've done, what was rewarding to you guys about it?
Probably meeting new people because since we went to new school, we got to meet new people,
Okay.
and that was probably a good time because I made a lot of friends.
Okay. Naya?
Um, yeah, like Quincy, like you said, meeting new friends, doing new things. It's
Okay.
nice.
What about the travel?
The travel is definitely the travel bonus. That was the best part.
That was the best part, huh? Okay, so where of all the travels, and I'm attributing going to Europe, right, when we were in Germany, because I feel like a lot of your memories will also be there. I mean, we traveled obviously in the US when we were stationed, but what would you say in our last duty station, which was in Germany, what was your favorite place?
I have to think about that because that's hard. A lot of the
That's
places
hard.
were amazing. Yeah.
Okay. You loved London a lot. I remember back then you really,
Well,
because you
I
did
mainly loved it
you were involved
because
with the flash mob.
I mainly liked it because it had a Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, that's your thing, huh? To go to all the hard rock. Is that your goal?
That is my goal,
To go to all the hard rock cafes?
which is a
That
lot.
sounds like a great, yeah, there's a lot, man. It sounds like an adventure. What about you, Keith?
That's tough because I have two places in mind that I really like:
Okay,
Italy
well, what
and
are they?
Switzerland.
It's what?
Italy and Switzerland. Those
Oh.
because we got to eat real pizza and pasta in Italy, and also, but in Switzerland we went skiing and we drank their fresh hot chocolate. But I
Hmm.
would probably have to say Switzerland because the amount of times we visit, it's clean, it's peaceful, it's like enough. Like you can wake up in the morning on a sunny day on a Sunday, come out with your hot chocolate with Swiss chocolate, so good. And then in the winter
Yeah,
you can go skiing or snowboarding.
we really, you know what? We did set the bar high by skiing in Zermatt, right? That was pretty cool, you know. And what about you? I know you like them all, but so you said you can't pick. What about Denmark? You guys went to Denmark on your own without
I
us,
know, but that was
without
for like a
getting that.
soccer tournament. We didn't really stay that like we didn't stay there enough to enjoy it because it was just for a soccer tournament. But like
Okay.
I think the most interesting thing on the trip was just going to the Hamburg Stadium, and that was yeah. Probably the journey to
Yeah.
Denmark was the
Yeah.
best part of going to Denmark because when we got to Denmark, we just played soccer, and then on the journey
Yeah.
to Denmark and on the way back, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite an experience that the fact that one, you guys traveled without us, right? And you guys stopped halfway in Hamburg, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so moving is tough, but military kids are pretty resilient, wouldn't you say? You have to think about it, right? Military is all you guys have known, military life. I know one thing though. So Quincy, when we were leaving Germany, you were excited to leave because you wanted to come
Yeah.
back and go to Wisconsin. And Naya, you had a hard time. You did not want to leave. And I remember you had a very close niche of friends. And you guys also, we moved while you guys were still in the school year. That I know was difficult.
Yeah. I was not a big fan of that at all. Me neither.
Would you go back? Would you go back to Germany?
The more that I think about it, the more I'm now starting to get like finally settled in America. And like, because living here, it's our home. We were born here, we've lived here the majority of our life. But I would go back to Germany for probably a vacation. I don't think I would
Yeah.
live there again. The more that I
Okay.
stay here, probably too. I agree with Naya. I would go there on vacation, but if I were to move there, I'd probably go on base because when we moved there, we weren't on base. We lived
Yeah.
30 minutes away from base. So if we move there again, I would want to live on base.
Yeah. I agree. Hindsight, right? We could have lived on post. It was where we live, beautiful. We're closer to Switzerland, but that was not, I know it wasn't easy on you guys. And especially since when I got sick, I can't imagine how was that experience for you, I know when I got sick that we were a year in to us being there. How did you guys cope with that?
It was pretty boring because we didn't have anybody to hang out with that's close by us. And
Yeah.
we couldn't really go on like we couldn't like visit restaurants or explore more of Germany without you since you were sick. So it was
Yeah.
like just pretty boring in general.
Yeah. And what about you, Naya?
It was for me. It was a mix like of emotions, like because you were sick for a pretty long time, and you're still recovering, and you get better every day. But for that long, since it was a long period of time, it was like difficult, and it was like, now where do we go? Because you were sick, and since it was for a long time, it was like, okay, what do we do? And it was just, I was like, not necessarily in one emotion, it was just going all over the place, kind of.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I remember I got sick. The plan was for us to go to London. Do you remember? We were supposed to go to
Yeah.
London for your birthday. And then we had all this planned. And then, of course, I was in a hospital. I remember at that time. And so, but you guys were strong, and it did help because COVID was still going on, and you guys weren't allowed in the hospital only on weekends. You remember that? I had to make a deal with the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time that like you started getting sick was we were like dad picked us up and we were going home, and then you called dad and then you said, "Hey, I'm not feeling well." So then you went to like the emergency room and then you ended up going to like the hospital.
Yeah, yeah. You guys were strong. I tell you, I got through it because of your love and your support. And I wanted to come home. I can't imagine how you guys felt, but it's a testament to a lot of the things that military, children get to face. You guys are mini airmen. You guys served with us, and you know what I mean? We can't do anything without your support, without you guys being there. And we try to tell you along the way what you and your dad and your dad and I are planning. Even now, it's like, hey, do you want to move here? What do you think about going here? And I know now you're like, nope, I don't want to move. And Quincy, you are ready to go and hang out with your grandparents in Wisconsin.
Of
And
course.
I'm just like, You don't you want to move. Do you think you'll miss being with us, right?
Definitely, yes.
So then why do you want to go to Wisconsin?
Well, one is closer to Marquette,
Uh,
and that's the only reason I got.
that's the only thing you got? Okay. So, but you could change your mind that you want to go to Marquette, or you're still like, no, you know that that's where you want to go to.
That's probably going where I want to go to.
Okay. And Naya, do you have a plan on what you want to do for school?
No,
No.
no, honestly, no. It's either
Do you still
Michigan, like not Michigan State, but like Michigan,
University of Michigan? Yeah. Okay.
but or an HBCU. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. We have good ones. There's Howard
I don't
down the
want to go,
street.
but things that I don't want to go to a college in Virginia.
It's okay. Wait, you want to be far away from us?
No, I just don't want to. I mean, no, I just don't like. I don't know. I don't want to be in this state if I like live here. I would personally, for me, I wouldn't live here. If when I get older,
Really? Interesting. Do you still want to go to the performing arts school, high school?
no, at this point, I think I'm just gonna wing it, like wing whatever I'm going for.
Okay. Yeah, you're still young, and so I'm assuming, at one point you also wanted to go to Oxford
Yeah, but that was and Cambridge,
and
and
Cambridge, and we went and we visited, right? Cambridge. So
but
my
I
thing is,
stopped.
you still want to do that?
No, no. I stopped because one of my friends had the idea of going to Cambridge. And Cambridge, it's not a school that you immediately think of in your head. Like if somebody asks you a question, name a college in like 3 seconds, you can name some common college like Duke, Yale. But Cambridge, it's in England. And I would be living internationally, which I like. And two, it's a whole entire new place. That's another reason why I like it. But then when my friend said that she wanted to go to Cambridge, I was like, now I don't want to go anymore because I wanted to be the only one to go, even though that's sure.
Well, if she's your friend, you would probably think, oh, you know what? You will not be by yourself. You'll have a friend with you in
Yeah,
Cambridge.
yeah.
So is she a friend or is she just a classmate? Because
No,
I mean, it's auntie, your best friend, saying, oh, your best friend wants to go to MIT, from what I remember. And so if she says, I'm going to Cambridge, you would probably say, oh, I mean, that would be fun, right?
if we go to the same college,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be fun. But I would not go to MIT. Like I'm
Yeah.
not looking
No,
for
okay.
any engineering thing.
Hey, you have time. You guys have time to decide, right? You have time. There's no rush, but you're 13 and you remember we said we'll start looking at colleges here. What I love about the two of you is you guys are so interested in college that you still do your research and you're trying to figure out your niche and where you're going to college. So I'm proud of you guys for that, right? So I'm going to pivot. Let's talk about communication. Now that you guys are starting tomorrow, you're officially, and I say tomorrow because obviously this is a pre recorded podcast. It's a Sunday and tomorrow is Monday, which is your birthday. But um, you guys are going to be 13. What? I know, I'm pushing you along. You're going to be 13. What is communication like? Do you guys feel comfortable telling your parents if you have something bothering you, right? Obviously, military kids, again, with all the different moves, making new friends every 2 years, every 3 years, we have to move. houses, moved to another state, moved to another country, or whatever the case is. When you guys struggle, do you feel comfortable talking to your parents about what you're thinking and how you're feeling?
100%.
Not, what about you, Naya?
Yes, sir. I do.
Yeah, come on. You can tell me.
I do.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your comfort level? One,
9.
10 being very, very, very confident. One being, nope, I can't tell you anything.
9.
What, 9? Okay.
Because
And Quincy?
probably a 9.9, but
At 9.9?
because
Okay.
sometimes there's some things that I want to get off my chest, but I'm a little
Yeah.
too nervous to say it.
Yeah.
But I'll build up the confidence to say it.
Mhm.
So probably actually a 10. A 10.
Okay. What
Sometimes I'll
about
just hesitate. Some things I just would keep to myself, you know. And they wouldn't even be bad. They wouldn't even be bad things. Just keep them like to myself.
right? And is it hard being a teenager?
Well, we're not.
I mean, well, preteen, teenager, close. Is it hard being your age?
No, no, I wouldn't
That's
say
good.
so. No, I wouldn't say so. It's hard at my age. I'm enjoying myself, taking
Yeah.
taking
Hey,
all
you
the
don't have any bills to pay. Yeah, you don't have any bills to pay.
no taxes.
And all you, it's like, we went to the mall yesterday and Lego store and Miss Diva over there going into Sephora and spending all that money in Sephora. So
You got something too. You got something too.
I got one item.
I got a Lego set that's like bigger than all your stuff combined, and it was only $100. Well, all of yours combined was like over $200. Well, also I got clothes. Yeah, I got clothes. But still,
Yeah.
all that combined is not big enough to my Lego set. I got a hoodie and like overalls. It's not even bad. How much was a hoodie and
Hey,
overalls?
you know what? Hey, we're grateful that we can afford it, right? And so, but here's the thing, right? I'm glad that you guys are we do have a great relationship in terms of us talking to you guys. What your dad and I try to do is talk to you, not like adults, but knowing that you guys have your own mind. And we always wanted to let you guys know that we have an open door. Parents are not perfect, but we do like to hear your perspective, right? Because even when we say, hey, what do you think about us moving here? What do you think about us PCSing, over here? I always get one thing is you guys always sometimes don't agree. You want to do one thing, Quincy wants to do one thing. And I'm like, the problems of twins. I'm like, come on, you know? And so we do ask you, we care and we honor your opinion. But sometimes, guess what? Because we're a military family, we have to go where the military tells us to go, right?
Yes.
Dad's still in the military. So when dad says, hey, we got to go here, guess what? We got to support him.
We're going. Hey,
No
or
comment.
I can move with one of my best friends if I don't want to go there. It will
I do
it
not
will
think
expose
so.
us.
I don't think so, madam.
It
I'm
will
sorry.
expose it will expose
Yeah,
us to new places.
yeah,
What
exactly.
what if we
Because I
PCS?
mean,
Yeah,
how many countries have you? What you're going to be 13 soon, but how many countries have you been to?
I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's quite a bit. I think
Jamaica's not
I think the last time we counted was 13.
13. Oh no, what's it? No, I believe it was like 7. Okay, hold on. You have USA, Germany, Switzerland, Denmark, Austria, Italy,
Spain,
Spain, United
Czech
Kingdom,
Republic,
Czech Republic, yes,
Poland,
uh, Poland.
Denmark.
Yeah, I said Denmark.
Wait, I feel like
Okay.
we're missing one.
Does Jamaica count?
No,
Yeah, Jamaica. Well, yeah, Jamaica.
no, because isn't Jamaica?
It's
Anyway.
a part of the U.S.
My
right?
seventh teachers failed.
It's its
Yeah.
own country. Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's
That's
in the
okay.
islands.
so 11. 11.
So 11.
Okay, that's not bad. I thought we had like 7 or
That's not
something.
bad at all, right?
Yeah, I thought we had like 7 or something like that.
We
No,
did, but
see,
then we started
now that I
traveling.
make you stop and count, you could see it's a blessing. Not a lot of people are able to do that. Military kids, we have that ability, to travel and expose you to different cultures, different parts of the world. So that's a blessing, it's a gift, right? So, what advice would you give military kids out there that could probably be listening to this podcast? You never know. What advice would you give them, right?
For me, I would say like I know it's hard, but like kind of like trust the process on how it's gonna go, because you never know what will come at you if you like deploy your like PCS or something. And so just keep your head up and just trust on what's going on.
I would probably
Okay.
say be strong. If you follow and listen and respect your parents while you guys are moving, sometimes it can go a little smoothly, sometimes it could be bumpy, but eventually you'll get there.
That's great advice. What I forgot to ask you, right? Have you discovered any hobbies or activities that helped you connect with new friends in the different places you went to?
Yes. I know this sound very common, but probably basketball.
Yeah,
Since I played
I
basketball,
remember.
like I've been making connections with a lot of
Hmm.
my friends.
And now you're
Or
on the traveling team.
yes,
That's awesome. And you, mademoiselle,
Soccer.
soccer. But guess what you found out? What's the new thing you found out recently that you started doing?
Volleyball.
Volleyball. Which one do you like better?
Soccer.
Okay.
Because I'm still getting used to volleyball since I recently started playing it.
Yeah.
But like soccer, I feel like soccer will be my favorite sport for like the rest of my life.
yeah,
Awesome.
and flag football for me
Oh yeah, that's true.
in the
Yeah.
fall.
I like the fact that you guys are in sports. It teaches a lot. You get build a lot of character and like you said, make new friends. So okay, so you prefer soccer, right?
100%.
Awesome. Well, Naya and Quincy, thank you guys so much for being on my podcast. Hey,
No
for
problem.
those
Thank you.
listening, I did not force them, and I'm glad. A lot of the questions I'm asking, they didn't, this is again unscripted. I just wanted to have a conversation with them. I did tell them that I will ask them to be on the podcast in honor of military month, the month of the military child. And so thank you guys for coming on. And for those listening, again, our military kids are very resilient, and there's a lot of opportunities for them to learn a lot, and they are ahead of the curve in terms of culture, being diverse in knowing language, foods, the culture from different countries or even different states in the United States. And so without them, it's really, parents have to know that they are a very huge part of our service. And we thank them for all the things that they do in making it easy for us to wear the uniform every day and go to work. And for those that are struggling out there, Nia and Quincy gave great advice. Trust the process and know that you're not alone. And so I hope that you enjoyed this episode. It was very lighthearted. I just wanted to have a conversation with my kids. There's a lot of things sometimes that I learn something every day by talking to them. And what I've realized again is asking them questions and waiting for them and acknowledging their feelings. It's very important, that we hear out what they have to say and get their perspective, even though we're the adults and we're still going to make the decisions. It's good to kind of know what they feel. And so, to all our listeners, remember that military life comes with its challenges, but it offers the chance to see the world and meet amazing people along the way. Happy month of the military child. And to my amazing twins, happy birthday in
Thank
advance.
you.
And
All right. And so, okay.
I didn't tell you this, but let's say if my MBA career doesn't go as I planned, I have a backup plan, and I would want to go to the academy and become an officer.
Okay. Good for you. What would you study?
I haven't really looked into what I would be studying.
Well,
and I don't really know
okay,
what
that's
study.
fine. That's fine. I mean, I've always said you like building Legos. So there's engineering at any point, feel free. I know when you were younger, you always wanted to be a pilot. And I know things change, and that's okay. You will definitely, who you are today is definitely not who you're going to be even next year. So things will change. Like, Naya, you wanted to be a veterinarian at one point. That was your life dream. I don't know if that's something you're still interested in. And then you morphed into wanting to be a singer and you morphed into, so it's going to change. And ultimately, your dad and I will be here to support you guys in whatever that change is. I just want you guys to be productive, caring people in society. That's all we ask. Right?
Yes,
Got it.
And so thanks again for tuning in. And that's it for today's episode on Vetly Speaking. Make sure to subscribe and tune in to next time for more stories and insights. And for now, it's goodbye and thank you.
Thank you for having us. And peace. Bye.